Por eso te invitamos a que te suscribas a nuestro canal de YouTube, ekoradio, en donde encontrarás los mejores programas, el mejor contenido y podrás escuchar nuestra señal online www.ekoradio.com, la vitrina del talento latino. La mejor música, el mejor contenido y los mejores programas en la mejor ekoradio, otra forma de hacer radio. Ey, ekoradio con K. ekoradio.com, otra forma de hacer radio. Síguenos en nuestras redes sociales, en Twitter e Instagram como @ekoradio y en Facebook como ekoradio. Ekoradio, otra forma de hacer radio.
Entre el 2004 y junio del 2020 en Bogotá, muchos ciudadanos se autorreconocieron como personas en condición de discapacidad.
Este proceso cambió y ahora deberá solicitar su valoración, certificación e inclusión en el nuevo registro de localización y caracterización de personas con discapacidad, según lo establecido por el Ministerio de Salud y Protección Social, Resolución 113 de 2020.
Lo invitamos a consultar más información ingresando al botón de Agilínea en www.saludcapital.gov.co, Secretaría de Salud, Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá.
3 simples pasos con los que puedes hacer la recarga web de la tarjeta Tu Llave. 1. Ingresa a www.tullaveplus.gov.co. 2. Diligencia el formulario. 3. Activa la recarga en los lectores ubicados dentro de las estaciones troncales del sistema.
La Bogotá que estamos construyendo.
¿Tienes dolor de cabeza o mareos frecuentes? Cuidado, puede ser hipertensión arterial. ¿Has sentido fatiga o sed sin causa alguna? Atención, puede ser diabetes. En Bogotá, más de 1 millón de personas padecen hipertensión arterial o diabetes, pero muchas más tienen estas enfermedades y aún no lo saben. Si tienes dudas sobre tu estado de salud, consulta oportunamente a tu EPS y sigue las indicaciones del personal médico. Secretaría Distrital de Salud, Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá.
Estás escuchando ekoradio.com, la vitrina del talento latino.
Bueno, pues bienvenidos a un nuevo espacio con el Instituto Nórdico aquí en Ekoradio, otra forma de hacer radio. Jorgen, me siento muy emocionado, muy contento porque vamos a cumplir 5 años en Ekoradio. Y tú sabes que nuestro socio estratégico de hardware está en Suecia, es colombiano, pero prácticamente tenemos una relación estrecha con Suecia y no habíamos hecho nunca un programa en directo desde Suecia. Jorgen, bienvenido a este espacio del Instituto Nórdico. Gracias por alcahuetearnos la idea.
Pues gracias, César, de nuevo. Te quería contar que ya estamos acá en Suecia, en la Universidad de KTH, y tenemos un invitado muy especial hoy que se llama Frank Gielen, que es el gerente de educación como tal de EIT Energy. Pues, hi, Frank.
Hi, Jorgen.
Buenas noches, Frank.
Buenas noches.
Very good. You speak in Spanish?
No, but I can understand the most important words like cerveza and so on.
So you do it in Spanish or in English?
Let's do English. It will be better for your audience.
So why are we here today at KTH, Frank?
Yeah, well, we are here at KTH today because we have an amazing event with our master school students. We bring all our students from year 1 and year 2 together to connect with each other, but also to connect with our industry partners, connect with Energy, to see the whole community which we offer as their learning environment.
Fantastic. And a very interesting thing here is I've been speaking with quite a few companies, like Norfolk. They're looking for a lot of people. I think they're looking for about 5,000 people now. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I guess if you look at their full plan, it could even be more because we are really seeing that the demand from industry, whether it's startups or established players or engineers with the knowledge of the energy sector, it's exploding. It's really exploding.
I think if you're an engineer, I think the most important thing you can do is start something related to renewable energy. So huge opportunities, as Frank is telling us here. Yeah. Something like looking at it, which type of background do you look for in your students?
Yes, well, the most important thing we look for in our students is passion and a passion to improve the planet. That's like condition number one. And of course, they have to have a background in certain levels of education. And normally we look at bachelor's, or bachelor students in technical disciplines like electrical engineering or mechanical. I mean, that's the level of entry into the programs. And then we also look for students that really are interested by innovation and entrepreneurship. So the profile of a student is passionate, a good technical background, and then willing to learn also not only about technology, but also about how to apply it, innovation and change.
And so where we're big at in energy is entrepreneurship in particular.
Yeah.
Will you invest in the industry as well? Is that right?
Yes, actually, energy is more than a master school. Actually, we are an impact investor company, which means that we invest in startups with financial means, but also with human capital and talent. And that's where the master school comes in. So our focus on education is from investing in the future point of view and doing that for our own companies, which we have. So we hope that the students, while they are in our programs, they get familiar with our companies, they get familiar with our portfolio, and they will be taking internships or master theses and hopefully also jobs with those companies.
And now it's a lot of opportunity that I can hear here. Another fair question that I got here for you is, what makes an ideal candidate? I think you're more than just told that you're very passionate.
Yes, passion. You don't only come for acquiring know-how, because you can do that in any university, but you come here because in energy, from the day you start, not when you graduate, but from the day you start working with companies, you start working on challenges in the energy transition. So we have an impact from day one. You feel that you can change things.
I think that's very interesting. That it's like you're able to learn while you're studying something you can use right after at the company. I think that is very, very interesting.
Yes.
That's what I've seen today as well, and where people really love in energy. That's what I felt in this day. Like they love to be here.
Yeah.
I think that is amazing. It sounds a little difficult to find, but I think that's what I got a feeling of.
Yeah, that's the environment we want to create.
Yeah. Exactly. And as you said, like why study with EIT Energy? What are the programs include?
Well, we have a number of master programs in different disciplines of the energy transition. So each one can find their own thing they like, whether it's renewable energy or whether it's storage or smart cities. There is a discipline for each one of them. And the thing is always that why would you do that in energy? Well, because it's connected to the major stakeholders in that segment of the industry. You don't only come to KTH, but you will work with Northvolt, with ABB, with Volvo, so it's the whole package.
And the other things that you go to university, we're looking at top universities in Europe. We're looking at top 100, we got KTH, top 100. We've got other ones like Colombia, the top 100. So you do 1 year at one university and then the second year at another one, or how does it work out?
Yes, it's always a dual degree program. So you start in one university in one country, and then you move to another country in the second year. So the international dimension is very much present in our programs. But even in between, there are a number of activities that are usually with business schools, like ESADA Business School or Unternehmen Tun, where you spend time with the more business side of education, so bringing together technology and business. And after the whole cycle, year one in a technical environment, some programs with business school, and then year two again in a technical environment. But although our programs are masters in engineering, I would say it's masters in engineering with an entrepreneurial spirit. So it's always part of the program.
It's almost like a triple degree you get. Is that right?
Yeah, you could tell it like this, because I always tell the prospective students, if you come to us, you get a double degree, and you don't have to do an MBA anymore, because you get the full package in our place. So the certificate you get from our business school partners, it's the equivalent of almost doing an MBA or a type of business school education.
And I think that one, the new renewable energy, you do about 20 weeks at the business school?
Yes, well, I know that for renewable energies, they have a program of about 180 hours spread over the 2 years. So yes, you will come close to a number of weeks. But you also have to see, I mean, you have the program that is formally in the teaching, but then the students always do a project or a challenge which they put much more time and which is really adding a lot to their understanding of the dynamics in the industry.
And the programs are for, I think, nuclear energy is one of those. And you got renewable energy.
Yeah.
And then you got smart cities,
Yes.
which is also a very interesting program. What is a smart city in your opinion?
Well, there are many definitions of a smart city, but what we see, the program for us is actually called Energy for Smart Cities, because we see that since people are concentrating life and work in cities, it creates enormous challenges for the city to provide the energy. And one example, if everybody in a city has an electric car and they all start charging it at the same moment, nobody will watch television anymore. So that's kind of the dimension we look at is smart cities from the energy perspective, but not only from the usage point of view, but also from the generation point of view. So how can solar energy be deployed in a city and used in an intelligent way? And the smart really comes into the digital knowledge that has to be applied. So how do you make the control systems? How do you collect the data to have like an optimal usage? So that's kind of the context of the smart cities program.
And then you got this program in smart electrical network. Is one we're talking about. Sorry?
Yeah, it's called Sense.
That is one for like batteries, like to work with batteries. Is that one, or is it
Well, it's a program. It includes batteries, but it focuses more general on the next generation electrical networks.
Okay.
And it's from electric power distribution at the high voltage level, but then also at the completely new networks like what they call the direct current networks. So, and this is a program focusing on, well, if you want to know anything about grids, microgrids, off-grids, that's the program you have to be.
What I understood is that pretty much if you do this program, they will hire you before you have even ended the program. Is that right?
Yes, and I think this is probably true for all our programs because, our programs are very highly selective, meaning that the students that are in there are already the top 10% of the best students. Companies know that, and you will see here today and tomorrow, we have over 40 companies coming to meet the students, not because they want to see them, but because they want to hire them.
Today?
Yeah, so tomorrow we have this marketplace, 40 companies are coming.
Uh-huh.
And one of the companies said, if we could, we would hire all of them because we have 500 vacancies worldwide.
Amazing. I just heard from Javier that they gave promise to the head of marketing said that they had a panel debate today, and then the guy he left the panel debate and still the student said, "Well, would like to work for us." It's quite interesting. So we are sitting on the panel, being part of the panel debate, and then they offer the job. So it's a lot of people and a lot of opportunities here. Amazing.
Yes. So the career future of the students in our program, that's guaranteed.
Exactly. No, I think it's incredible. Some more questions for you here. And another thing that includes is a lot of value activities.
Yes.
So I heard that you can pretty much like you study, for example, in Barcelona, but during your year in Barcelona, can you go to different places? I heard some were Portugal on a conference, and then to Italy.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this.
Well, we have one of the additions that Energy does to the traditional programs is what we call the value-added activities. And the value-added activities are mainly have a main target of developing the innovation, leadership, and the entrepreneurial attitudes of students. So which means we bring them in contact with real-life projects or industry events. And there are many variations on this. Sometimes they go work on an island to help the population with making the island energy independent. Then they other ones go to conferences where like top companies in the area have challenges on which they work. And that's really the role of Energy, that is we add activities to the programs which make them very special, but not only special, but which make them connected to the real world. So that really when students graduate, they are job ready. They don't need another 6 months of learning about the industry. They know about industry. And that's also what employers tell us. They tell us, well, if we hire students from your program, we can put them in front of a customer tomorrow without being nervous about it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is included in the program?
Yes. Yeah. This is signature program EIT Energy. That's what we do.
And it includes plane ticket, they include like accommodation as well.
Yeah. So when you come to our program and I mean, in the package, there is this added value activities, and we foresee, of course, that the students can participate in them, covered by what they pay for the program.
And as you can hear, it's quite amazing. Like people, got 40 companies here today, and they want to hire everybody. It's quite amazing, something I have never heard of. So yeah, highly, very, very good. After you've done a program here, most will find a job. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, I said, it's quite interesting. Looking at the current geopolitical situation, how do you expect investments in renewable energy to behave?
Well, of course, we are in a bit of a dramatic situation with the war in Ukraine. And I see a two-step process, because all the countries now want to get rid of Russian oil and gas, which means that they need a short-term solution. And in some countries, it means more fossil fuels, more oil, more dirty energy. But that's the transition series. I think if you look at all the plans that are being made, is invest more in renewables, invest more in storage, make ourselves independent, not independent from Mr. Putin, but make us independent from any energy dictator. That's how I call energy dictators now, who use energy as a weapon. And if we have our own wind and sun and we can store it for periods when there is no wind and sun, this connection becomes much more open. And that's so the short answer is the dramatic situation in which we are in today is accelerating the energy transition.
Quite amazing. As it's even accelerating what's happening in the world at the moment. That's something I didn't thought. I thought it was going to be less money, but it's going to be even more money.
Yeah, I think the number of the investors, or if you look at even how stock markets react, the stocks in renewable energy, they go up, because even though the situation is, from an economic point today, not good, they know that we have no other choice. I mean, everybody will want to independent of such threats.
Quite interesting. As I said, yeah, well, EIT Energy got very good industry connections. It's something we spoke about. So which are the areas of highest labor skills amongst your industry partners? I think, yeah, so both about battery and other areas?
Yes, so if we look at the areas which are most demanding, batteries and everything related to batteries, because we often speak about batteries, but it's also companies that build the charging network for cars and people that not only make the batteries but use them in systems. So everything related to storage and batteries is very high in demand. A new trend which is accelerating quite fast is hydrogen, because next to batteries, hydrogen is seen as the technology to solve the storage problem of renewables. And that's what we believe is going to work much. But I do have to say that in all those energy technologies, the other skill which is in very high demand is the digital skills of the people working in this area. And that's one of the areas where InnoEnergy is investing since 3 years. So we make sure that all the masters in energy engineering that graduate from our programs, they have a basis in data science, artificial intelligence, because this combination is golden.
I think data science is probably another very good area as well. And I spoke with another student today, well, I did a master in data science.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing a master here at EIT Energy. And they said, well, I think we're going to get a job in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think so. That's very much for the career politics. You got an amazing profile. So yeah, you get to your right away. Oh, really?
Yeah. I would even start my own company and do some high-priced, high-service consulting.
Imagine. Very interesting. So, which type of innovation do you expect to see in coming years in renewable energy?
Yes, well, I spoke about one already, hydrogen, because hydrogen is very promising, but still has a number of challenges in energy efficiency, also conversion rates. And so there is a lot of research being done and a lot of investment in hydrogen to make it also ready for the market. And that is certainly one. Other innovations or in the domain of offshore energy, because we know that offshore has a lot of potential, which is now only a couple of percentage that we tap into. We have the offshore wind parks, but the oceans are very big, and we can have tidal energy, wave energy. We have floating offshore wind. We have floating solar panels. So there, I see a lot of things happening.
That's another very interesting thing. So as you can hear, there's a lot of happening, and I think there's like this tunnel. Do you travel in a tunnel? Is that talking about a tunnel in a train? Is that right?
You're talking about the Hyperloop.
Yeah, Hyperloop. Yes,
yes. Yeah. So yeah, if you then look not at innovations in the energy technology, but the application domains that are using energy, well, today the transformation of the mobility sector is ongoing at full speed, and apart from the enormous increase in electric vehicles, the alternatives to, I would say, air travel are also being looked at. And so that's where the Hyperloop, which was an original idea of Mr. Musk, came into play, and where a lot of companies jumped literally on this train to find a mode of transportation which is sustainable from an energy point of view and also has the same comfort and speed as the air travel. That's where you have the Hyperloop, which is like the super fast train. And yes, there also, Energy has done 2 investments in 2 companies, and a lot of our students are giving opportunities to do internships or even master theses with those companies.
So when do you think that the idea will come true? Like when will we be able to start to travel without a very short time between cities? When would that be?
Well, the first pilot line was announced within 2 years from now, so 2024. And of course, all those plans need to be approved from permits from the environment. And we know that although those are fantastic technologies, sometimes the neighbors don't train running through their backyard, so there is always a lot of challenges. But if everything works out, the first pilot lines will be there in 2024, and this will be short trajectory, but to prove the concept. And then, of course, the big challenge there is to build the infrastructure. And I always compare it with the high-speed train infrastructure because it will be similar, and so it takes a lot of time. And yeah, you have to start. That's the important thing.
So, and plans on where between which cities going to be able to travel, or not yet?
Well, I have seen maps of networks which are, well, the usual suspect. Paris to Amsterdam to Köln, so the big lines today which are served by, say, short range air travel, but which could be done much faster with Hyperloop.
How long would you think it might take to Paris between Paris and Amsterdam and doing these Hyperloops?
Oh, I think it's something about 35 minutes, say, plan.
And it's how many kilometers is that between
Paris, Amsterdam? 500. 500, yeah. So the train will travel at 800 kilometers per hour. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's in a vacuum tube and without many resistance. So yes.
As fast as the plane, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the idea. So that speed is at par level with air travel. And you can avoid all the check-in, check-out procedures.
Here's another quite interesting question. EIT energy programs are supported by the EU for its energy transitions. Which lesson could Latin America countries learn from the European progress in this field?
Yes, well, I think they are supported by the European Commission because Europe wants to be a leader in the field. But the problem is global. I mean, and I can tell you that even our students, when they work on those real-world projects, it's not limited to Europe. We have done projects in Mexico, we have done projects in Thailand, we have done projects in all corners of the world with our students. So by design, I would say the solutions to the energy transition are global. How can it benefit Latin America? Well, I think the fact that people can learn here on how to do things, and learning means also failing, because we have projects that go well, we have projects that don't go well, but at least we are at the phase where we know at least which ones go well. So if you expand in another country in those and decide to have an energy transition plan, you have people that have been trained in knowing what are the good solutions and then can adapt it to the local context. And it's important to say it's a global problem, but each country, each island is different. And our students learn how to deal with these differences. They are not kind of receiving education in one solution, but look at the systemic view, taking into account all the parameters, and then we'll say, well, look for this solution in Bogota. This is how you have to design it, and this is what we need in terms of. So I think you can skip part of the learning curve. So that would be good.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, amazing to have that in Colombia. It's got so many hills.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. We had a train from the coast up to Bogota years ago, but they're not using it any longer. It takes ages. It's about 1,000 kilometers, and it takes about 18 hours on a bus.
That's long. Yes.
It's quite long because it's a lot of mountains in Colombia. It is very, very difficult to big roads. But to have this hyperloop, that would be something amazing for us. And there are a lot of talks in Colombia about hydrogen as an energy source. However, this is costly and complex to produce, transport and store. What could be a realistic and affordable path for green hydrogen? How would you like for entire hydrogen value chain?
Yes, well, hydrogen is quite special because there are a lot of applications for hydrogen. You can use it to generate electricity, and you could say I use hydrogen fuel cells in a car or in a bus or in a boat, and that could work. So that's one area. But even more importantly, there are some industrial sectors in the world which can only be decarbonized with hydrogen. And those are, for instance, green steel. So the production of steel is very polluting today, but with hydrogen we can make it carbon neutral. The same is for the production of cement. And then the third one is the production of fertilizer. So if you look at what is the best usage of hydrogen today and in the future, it's focusing on the decarbonization of those three sectors. In addition to that, hydrogen is an ideal long-term storage for energy. So if we have wind turbines or we have solar panels and they produce more energy than is consumed, we can use the excess energy to create hydrogen from pure water, so which is the most pure form of creating green hydrogen. And once this hydrogen is stored, then you can use it again later on to generate electricity. So this is one of the strategic projects of Energy, and it's also the area where we have a lot of education projects and challenges. It's expensive today, and that's what I said, but it's also the area where we expect the most innovations to make it economically feasible, and it's also the area where we think our students will be key in making the changes, because they are the future of this.
Amazing. So, César, ¿tenemos alguna pregunta?
Jorgen, pues estoy aquí aterrado en lo poquito que he podido entender. Ese es un tren súper espectacular, ¿no? Las velocidades son increíbles. Es decir, queda uno aterrado en lo que están trabajando, pero también me duele mucho ver el atraso en el que estamos en Colombia. Es increíble. Mire que cuándo van a venir a Colombia para montar algo así.
Sí, es la pregunta, ¿no? What do you think, Frank? When will you be in Colombia creating something related to what you're doing?
Well, we want to start right away now. And I have Javier who can guide us there, he knows the environment. But I think the best way to start, and we are working already outside of Europe, and we are now working with Canada and with some states in the United States to set up similar programs. And so, yes, very eager to start in Latin America and Colombia because we would be more than willing to help set up this kind of program worldwide because we do this because we want to accelerate the energy transition worldwide, not just in Europe.
That would be fantastic. César, tenemos una pregunta de la audiencia.
No, de la audiencia no he recibido. Tenemos gente conectada, Jorgen, desde obviamente Colombia, Ecuador y obviamente tenemos ahí un par de oyentes en Suecia. No, sensacional. Yo creo que esto es un gran contenido para todos los que no estamos metidos en ese mundo de esa tecnología y saber lo que se puede lograr. Creo que este es un programa que va a generar, yo creo que muchísima satisfacción de ver las posibilidades. Yo le haría una pregunta, ¿qué tan costoso sería implementar un tren de esos en Latinoamérica? ¿Es impagable? Si un metro es muy costoso, ¿qué tan costoso sería?
¿Los programas de Energy?
Lo del tren, por ejemplo, esa tecnología del tren, porque ya los programas eso es diferente. Lo del tren.
So talking about a hyperloop, what's the cost of the hyperloop? Like 1,000 kilometers, I said, down to the coast. What would be the investment?
I could not tell you top of my head because there are a lot of things included in there, like the land permits, there's the cost of the research and development, but then there's the cost of rolling it out. So I would have to come back with an answer for you on that one.
I think sí, él dice que está un poco complejo el tema, como cuánto costaría como tal.
Ok, no, pues maravilloso. Pues bienvenidos a Colombia.
Muy bien. Pues, yo no tengo más preguntas por el momento. Yo creo que vamos a dejar a Frank acá, él está muy ocupado y vamos a ir a comer y vamos a hacer un evento acá en Estocolmo por la noche para seguir con la conferencia en la cual estamos y mañana vamos a hacer otro día. Frank, what are we going to do tomorrow?
Tomorrow, well, we have quite an interesting program tomorrow. So first with some introduction by our CEO to the students, but then the remaining of the day is about the battle of green talent. And it's a serious game which is part of our programs where students that want to create a startup, they get they get, of course, coaching, and we help them to do that. But we link them up with students of top business schools from Europe, like London Business School, ESADA. And those students play the role of investor. So they challenge the plans. And tomorrow we have the final. So they have been working on this since 2 semesters. So they started in September. Tomorrow is the final event where the 6 startup companies by students that were receiving the most virtual money from the investors come here to present their case, and then we give them also the prize.
Wow.
So it's one of the activities we add to the program to really promote entrepreneurship. So they work together on a startup idea, they get challenged by real investors, and then and we hope that, of course, the ones that are in this program, that's why we call it the serious game, they continue afterwards with the real company. And for that, Energy has the whole infrastructure of our investment and our funds, so we can support them. And we have companies created by our students who are doing really well.
That's more a big day.
Yes, but more for the students and for me. It's a big day.
¿Lo entendiste, César? ¿Qué vas a hacer mañana?
No, la verdad está aquí distraído porque estaba revisando el audio del retorno de YouTube y me distraje, perdón, discúlpeme. Excuse me, please.
So, tomorrow vamos a hacer un día muy interesante que en la cual los estudiantes van a presentar ideas como tal y vamos a tener inversionistas acá, varios inversionistas, y la idea es como que luego siguen con el proyecto como tal y que vuelvan una empresa de realidad. Llevan como 2 semestres trabajando con estos proyectos. Entonces hay unas ideas muy buenas, lo que van a presentar mañana como tal.
Maravilloso.
Pues yo creo que con eso entonces terminamos el programa de hoy, porque Frank is quite a busy person, so I think we'll finish it up with finish today.
Okay.
Listo, bueno, César.
Pues Jorgen, espectacular. La verdad es que qué bueno estar trabajando con el Instituto Nórdico en Colombia, porque nos traen toda esta gran información y nos abren los horizontes de todas las posibilidades que tenemos, como dices tú, de querer hacer las cosas. Entonces, Jorgen, un feliz viaje, muchas gracias.
Bueno, gracias, César. So, thanks a lot, Frank.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me here. Bueno,
Sí,
mil gracias.
Fran, thanks, y welcome to Colombia.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be there.
Okay.
Ok, a todos les agradecemos que se hayan conectado hoy a este especial desde Estocolmo, Suecia, con el Instituto Nórdico, con un gran contenido. Seguiremos haciendo estos especiales en la medida que podamos. Si les gustan estos contenidos, compártanlos, que es el trabajo en ekoradio. Una feliz noche, un feliz amanecer, una feliz tarde en cualquier parte del mundo donde nos están escuchando o donde nos van a escuchar. Y no olviden, ekoradio es otra forma de hacer radio. Chao, chao.
Chao, chao.
Otra forma de hacer radio, una emisora diferente, con contenido especializado. Sigue toda nuestra programación en www.ekoradio.com.
¿Tienes dolor de cabeza o mareos frecuentes? Cuidado, puede ser hipertensión arterial. ¿Has sentido fatiga o sed sin causa alguna? Atención, puede ser diabetes. En Bogotá, más de 1 millón de personas padecen hipertensión arterial o diabetes, pero muchas más tienen estas enfermedades y aún no lo saben. Si tienes dudas sobre tu estado de salud, consulta oportunamente a tu EPS y sigue las indicaciones del personal médico. Secretaría Distrital de Salud, Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá.
3 simples pasos con los que puedes hacer la recarga web de la tarjeta Tu Llave. 1. Ingresa a www.tullaveplus.gov.co. 2. Diligencia el formulario. 3. Activa la recarga en los lectores ubicados dentro de las estaciones troncales del sistema.
La Bogotá que estamos construyendo.
Entre el 2004 y junio del 2020 en Bogotá, muchos ciudadanos se autorreconocieron como personas en condición de discapacidad.
Este proceso cambió y ahora deberá solicitar su valoración, certificación e inclusión en el nuevo registro de localización y caracterización de personas con discapacidad, según lo establecido por el Ministerio de Salud y Protección Social, Resolución 113 de 2020.
Lo invitamos a consultar más información ingresando al botón de Agilínea en www.saludcapital.gov.co. Secretaría de Salud, Alcaldía Mayor de Bogotá.
ekoradio.com, otra forma de hacer radio. Síguenos en nuestras redes sociales, en Twitter e Instagram como @ekoradio y en Facebook como ekoradio. Ekoradio, otra forma de hacer radio. La mejor música, el mejor contenido y los mejores programas en la mejor ekoradio, otra forma de hacer radio.